story is part of the Carolina Storyteller. Written by me, produced by me, edited by me, starring me, horribly marketed by me. I'm 2 years in and I don't have a team. If you want to support the podcast, please go to patreon.com/Carolina Storyteller and subscribe. We've got 3 tiers, and from those 3 tiers, you can get early episodes, exclusive content, and if you go for the big bucks, we'll even let you be part of the live audience. Stay spooky, man.
This is Let Me Tell You a Story. I am the Carolina Storyteller, Jonathan Phoenix, and today, among the many surprises for you, first of all, being able to see my face, I have a new guest co-host, Applesauce. Applesauce, say hello.
Applesauce says hello.
Applesauce says hello. Applesauce and I have been friends for a long time. Applesauce actually has a couple of my books. Applesauce and I have co-worked on several things in the past, and now Applesauce is going to occasionally be popping in.
We've had a couple of collabs.
Yeah, we've had a few collaborations, and we've had a lot of fun doing it.
We have.
And so Applesauce
Absolutely.
Yes. Applesauce will be appearing from time to time, or not appearing, because it's Applesauce. Applesauce can't just get up and walk, but it can talk, and I got a mic to it. It took a lot of work, but I got a mic to it. It's Applesauce is awesome. Just don't give it nails or glitter.
Well, that's what happens. Okay, nails and glitter are what made me sentient in the first place, so we need more nails and glitter, to be fair, okay? And fire. Fairy fire, blue fire. I mean, I can't even move, so I really do appreciate any amount of get up and go that I cannot get, considering I am just sentient applesauce.
So, if you want your applesauce to move and talk, remember, nails, glitter, and fire. That's our first lesson for today. Applesauce is going to be showing up quite a lot in some of the episodes. Sometimes it'll be in episodes where we have other guests. Sometimes it'll just be me and Applesauce. But everybody, welcome Applesauce to the show. Please be, respectful, and don't ask them what tree they came from or what type of apples they were used to be made by. Okay? They were not Granny Smith.
Thank you.
And you don't need to know anything more than that, okay? It's not Granny Smith applesauce. Quit asking. It's very, very rude. They were Macintosh, right?
Agreed.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, shh.
All right.
As long as we don't talk about that.
Sorry. My bad.
We both know it's not a green apple, okay?
Yes.
Just as long as nobody assumes that I'm a green apple. If they assume I'm green apples, we need to fix that immediately.
We will get that worked on.
I'm a noticeable apple.
We will get that worked on, I promise. So,
thank you.
Let me ask you something, Applesauce. Do you know what Canadians, Native Americans, rednecks, and a United States president all have in common?
Okay, now that one you got me. You got me good on that one. There's few of those that got some commons, but all of them?
Yeah.
Nope.
All of those have something in common. Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
All of those groups have reported sightings of Bigfoot or Sasquatch or, whatever one of the many different names this cryptid has. That's right. A sitting U.S. president, once, not just one, but 2 actually, and one of their brothers and a few U.S. senators have all claimed that they have had encounters with the legendary Bigfoot.
Whoa. Okay, that was unexpected. Which ones?
It was Andrew Jackson and, of course, Teddy Roosevelt.
Nice.
I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, if anybody was going to...
Sasquatch, Yeti.
If anybody was going to run across a freaking Sasquatch, it was going to be Teddy Roosevelt. I'm just saying, that guy was...
Fair enough, but I mean, I also feel like it would make a really good pitch for Andrew Nixon as well. It's just like, now remember, your presidents are a little bit different in my area, but my presidents are different than your area. But yes. What about those flamboyant ones, the ones that liked to party? Well, You have a few of those, don't you?
Yeah, we've had a few, but no. Believe it or not, the
The
one
one
that
that
you would,
dated Marilyn.
huh? Oh, you're talking about Kennedy. No, he didn't see
The one that
Bigfoot.
dated Marilyn.
Yeah, that was Kennedy.
Really? I want him to.
Yeah,
Okay, so Andrew Jackson and Teddy Roosevelt both
and both had claimed to have at one
liked.
point in time seen a Bigfoot. Now, Andrew Jackson is of course remembered for being, this, freaking legendary badass who dueled everybody. Let's not get into
Oh,
all of his flaws because the American presidents, um, they all have flaws. Some of them way more than others. Not going to say any names. Not going to point at any golden
I don't
towers.
think
Just
we need
gonna
to.
just gonna do this. We're not going to talk about
If
American presidents
you
today.
could just insert another food, because I'm a food, right? So I can't really bring down other foods. But if a food was orange, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well,
Just saying.
Cheetos. Cheetos is a good food,
You know.
but we're not getting into that discussion. We don't do politics on this show. We do
Yes.
paranormal cryptids and
Which is
legends.
fair.
And so today's
Mm.
legend is none other than Bigfoot. This creature has been sighted from as far south as Florida and as far north as Alaska. And if you include other.
Isn't it called the Yeti there?
No, he's only the Yeti when you get over into the Himalayan mountains, where he becomes the Yeti and something else. Up north, he's known as the Sasquatch. Down here, he's called Bigfoot. So it's, I don't know if it's
I do like that.
I don't know if it's the Mason-Dixie line or a little bit above, but somewhere he becomes a Sasquatch. But his description, other than when he is the Yeti, is all the same. A very large, bipedal, humanoid-shaped primate that walks and stands like a man, but is covered in hair. Basically a really hairy dude.
Which I mean that is monkeys.
Yeah.
Who apparently also smells. Oh, there's another name. What's that other? Skunk ape.
Yes, he
Skunk
was.
ape.
Well, now the skunk ape. It's not 100% sure that the skunk ape and Bigfoot are the same thing. But yes, that was another name for it, the skunk ape.
Really?
Yeah, and believe it or not, the skunk ape comes from around the Appalachia, where we're at, where we also have like dogmen and all kinds of other weird things. You don't go in the woods in the Appalachia. You just don't. Not at night, not by yourself, and never when you hear whistling. Just stay out of the woods around here.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely not. Nothing good happens from whistling at night. You don't look in the trees, you look down, you don't say certain words, and you keep going.
if you heard something, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Nope.
I just stay away from it. So,
Yep.
one of the crucial stories, and like I said, presidents have seen them, Native American people. You start with the Native American legend of this man creature who they didn't call Bigfoot. They had some other name for it, and unfortunately, I'm not able to pronounce it, and I didn't exactly get time to learn how to pronounce it. But the Native Americans believed that this creature lived amongst the trees and had been there for quite some time. He was intelligent and was a guardian spirit of the land. They actually held high regard for the Sasquatch, and in many of their legends and instances, he is considered to be almost a deity-like guardian spirit. He is.
Oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
This is just a few that have encountered him, but their encounters go way back before white man arrived. Now the white man arrived in 1492. We really didn't get really over here till the 1500s. We didn't really have colonies going until the 1600s. So it took us a little while to get into the woods. But immediately we encountered this large ape-like man, and one of the things that we noticed was that the tracks for this thing were humongous. Okay, I wear a size 13 shoe. A Bigfoot's footprint is about 1.5 of my feet. So that is a very, it's a big foot.
That's a big
And,
boy.
ladies, I don't know if the rumors are true,
Aptly
so don't be
named.
hunting him down, please. Okay? Do not. It's not funny. But, this creature was first seen or reported by explorers as they were moving out from the coast inland along the Appalachian Mountains. And he was affectionately named Bigfoot. And somewhere along the lines between this discoveries, there was another creature that was called Sasquatch. And it turned out that they were one and the same. They were believed to be one and the same. So Bigfoot and Sasquatch became interchangeable. And then they kind of combined that with the legends of the Yetis from Nepal because it was kind of the same, only the Yetis have white fur as opposed to the dark fur. But there was never any evidence collected. Maybe a hair here, a footprint there, but nobody was ever able to get anything until the 1960s. And this is the interesting story I want to tell.
What did they find then?
In the 1960s,
Okay.
father and son were out camping, and they had a video camera. And it's one of those old, you're going to record everything on this 8mm film cameras. And they record, and it's about 30 seconds of this creature walking. And it's probably from maybe half a mile, quarter mile away. But it is a bipedal, solid, creature walking with two arms, just kind of strolling. And the general area is maybe, I don't know, football field that he walks, 2 football fields. But based on the distance topography and everything, when they're looking at the video, this creature had to be at least 7 or 8 foot tall, bipedal, covered in hair. It was discernible that it was a creature. Now, a lot of people try to debunk this video, and it is the most, it is literally the most non-debunked evidence of Bigfoot to ever be out there.
Really?
Yes, because based on the technology of the time, based on special effects and everything else of the time, there is no way that a human could have covered the distance that creature covered in a costume with the terrain and everything, and that they could have
2
faked the
football
video.
fields in 30 seconds? That's a lot of space. So you said it was 2 football fields. How long? I'm here.
Are you still there? I'm sorry,
I
folks.
am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my phone rang and it threw everything off for a second. We're back. So yeah, and in that little clip, which takes not even 30 seconds, I think maybe a minute, he spans this long distance walking, and the terrain, the style of terrain, just where it was at, they don't believe that a human could have done that. They don't believe that a human could be that tall. So they had to try and find other answers. And the real only other answer they could come up with was a silverback gorilla.
Which doesn't quite match for, locational areas and
Exactly. How did a
just having
silverback
one.
gorilla get into the woods in 1967 in the Appalachia? It's just not possible. So it becomes this big controversy because a lot of scientists are like, oh, yeah, that seems like proof. And then a lot refuse to accept it as proof. And since then, there have been others. There have been pictures. What were you saying?
I can't remember, but I saw these YouTube videos, and that was there was something that the guy was saying. He's been hunting Bigfoots for almost all of his life, 10 years or something. And every time he sends information and videos, because he's got quite a few, he sends videos off to the big news stations, and when they get all their people to review it and they do all their checks and balances, they can't dispute it. And because they can't dispute it, he says they won't post it. They won't talk about it. It's like they want to prove that it's not real in order to talk about it, and if they can't disprove it, they don't want to talk about it, which seems odd.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing because I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've never seen evidence of a Bigfoot. I can't debunk that they don't exist. I don't think that they. I don't think something that's been believed for so long is entirely myth. It's got to be something, but I don't know what. Yet it is anybody who tries to figure out, okay, what is the basis of this? You start looking into it, unless you're trying to disprove it, you were
Mhm.
looked at as being kind of cuckoo. Just for, even taking and giving the
Yeah.
evidence and the many sightings the benefit of the doubt. And a lot of that's a lot of what goes into this cryptid and paranormal research. It's really, as a science, it's looked down upon, which is sad because science is supposed to be the exploration for the truth, not, instantly throwing
Mhm.
anything away just because you can't prove or disprove it. We get that, we've solved a lot, answered a lot of the questions that we've had over the past 500-600 years with science. But nowadays, if science can't answer the question, it's BS to science. That's not always the truth. Science is supposed to be dedicated to finding the truth, whether it supports or does not support your hypothesis. So, bad on you,
You
science.
know what's odd about Sasquatch? Yeah, for real. But you know what's odd about Sasquatch, though?
What's that?
All the other cryptids that we discuss of, or like you'll like mermaids and stuff like that, there's always like a reasonable, semi-reasonable explanation, like, oh, it was a type of porpoise, or it was a type of this, or here's this thing that was in the area that kind of resembles this thing. But when it comes to Sasquatch, there's so many sightings of it and so many different like footprints and all of this type of stuff, and there's no logical thing that they tie it to. They just completely, like even Loch Ness. Well, what if it's a dinosaur that didn't go fully extinct? They have a semi reasonable something to back it up. But with Sasquatch, they're just like, no, this thing that kind of makes sense, absolutely not. Just no. We're not talking about it. We're not discussing it. We're not looking at it. We have no reasons for you. It's a man in a suit. Go away. I feel it's almost like that one's the most believable because they're not trying to debunk it. They're not trying to tell us anything else. They're just flat out being like, we don't see it. Which, like, look at any video. Type Sasquatch or Bigfoot in TikTok. You will see tons. So why isn't it getting the same cryptic like treatment?
So, I think that Bigfoot, being that it's the oldest cryptid in the American genre, and I think this is the big thing is that
Mhm.
you go elsewhere and people don't debunk it as much as they do in America. They don't try to brush it under the rug. Um, for the longest time, people couldn't prove Bigfoot was out there. So, some guy comes running up and goes, "There's a giant man ape out there. He's 7 foot tall and he can throw a tree." And immediately they go, "Oh, old timer over there, he's drunk and needs to go to bed. He's just crazy." And that was the thing is that you didn't see it, you didn't understand it, so you start passing people off as crazy. Then somebody else sees it, oh, they're crazy too. Now you've got a whole bunch of crazy people because a whole bunch of people have seen it. They're all crazy. Okay,
Mhm.
well, we're not going to talk about this anymore because they can't all be crazy because Ted over there, okay, they must have, it's a hallucination or something. They start trying to disprove
Mhm.
things, and this is the common person. So then science comes in, and science, of course, is trying to get away from you know, we can use the smell of toad farts to get rid of cancer. They're trying to get away from that, get away from, boiling toads and lizards and everything to create a boiling elixir that you pour
Perfect.
over
Will
your
make you
arm, and all of a sudden
beautiful.
you'll be beautiful. They're trying to get away from all of that. They're trying to get into, hey, you actually have to take this
Fair.
vitamin to improve this and this to improve that. And so when they look at science and they go, hey, science, um, what up with this thing? Science goes, oh, we ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. We don't want anything to do with that. That's just a monkey or something.
But that's the thing. It's so, out of all the
Two,
cryptids, it's so believable.
five.
Like mermaids, I really like the concept of, but you have to believe that a branch of humanity evolved and went underneath the water. Like it's a reasonable, quote unquote reasonable. It's a leap. Like I'm a sentient bowl of applesauce. Come on now. It's a reasonable leap. But like a a monkey to go in between us being monkeys and then us being this version of man is so believable. Like, shouldn't it just exist? Shouldn't it just, where's the link? Isn't it obvious?
But see, again, then you have the other side of the problem, which is organized religion. If the monkey, or since we're going to call it the monkey, if the monkey is the root of man, then the Sasquatch very much could be some form that proves evolution. This would also support mermaids in the fact that humanity and everything supposedly evolved from fish that crawled on the land, that became this, that became that turned into these.
Yep.
So we actually came from the water. A lot of people don't realize that that's how evolution went. Mammals weren't the first. It was single-celled organisms, and then fish, and amphibians, and mammals, and primates, and us. Hi, how you doing? We didn't get here easily. It took a while. It took a long while. I'm doing the hand things. I like doing the hand things. So you get organized religion does not like that because they have this belief in creation. And if you're a member of the Patreon, you might have a chance to listen to the creation story that I go through, where I kind of fix all of this, because creationism and evolution don't have to be enemies. We can be friends, okay? It can work together, creationism and evolutionism. You just got to think a little bit. But because they believe in creationism, if Bigfoot exists, it disproves creationism and proves evolution by showing a link between lower primates and higher primates, which would really, really disturb.
I tend to forget that there's a thing that,
it would disturb the Vatican. Pope would be a little mad. He'd be on the phone like, "Hey, man, why you create this thing? And now I got to tell these people that you, man, why didn't you tell me the whole story? That thing's walking around here. It links us to primates. What in the world?" Like,
couldn't that be just solved with the one simple sentence of "What is a day to a deity"? Like,
boom,
come on,
boom. You must have heard
you
must have been on the Patreon and heard the creation argument. I used Neil deGrasse Tyson's calendar.
It's a very obvious sentence, right?
Yeah,
What is a day to a deity? Period.
So there are plenty of reasons for people to argue against the existence of Bigfoot. But what are the reasons to argue for him? If you argue for him, then we have to protect his habitat. He's probably an endangered species. We can't find. And then you have to worry about people who would just randomly go out and hunt him down, just because it's Bigfoot. I mean, U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt.
Trophy kills are a real thing, sadly.
Yeah, likes to go out and kill things. Granted, he did not want anyone to hurt the Bigfoot. He believed that creature should be left be. Okay. But there are plenty of people that like to go all the way, like to fly all the way to another country just to go and hunt down something and kill it, not to use it for food or for clothing or for anything else other than to say that, hey, I killed this thing. And, I get it, it's a cool sport, but, hunting for food is really what hunting should be. Killing something just to kill something is kind of, a little messed up, just a little bit. Like, if you're going to hunt something, eat it.
I understand, right? Or wear its fur, or do something. And when I say wear its fur, it better be a reasonable thing to wear the fur of. I'm a very big supporter of the seal industry for certain groups of people who rely on that, right? Like the fur, the fat, the meat, all of it, the bones, every part of that animal is taken and done. But I mean, we can't really condemn what other people are doing, but we certainly can if it's going to completely remove an animal from existence.
Yes.
Personally.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think hunting, I think trophy hunting is what it's called. Trophy hunting takes away from what hunting should be, which is hunting was created for us to provide food and clothing and supplies. So I mean, if you're hunting an animal because you need that fur and you need that food, albeit all power to you. But if you go out and hunt an animal just to kill it and it's an endangered animal, you're kind of screwing with all of us
Well, then
there.
that's
It's an
not.
ecosystem, which means we need all the pieces. Just saying.
Which makes me wonder how, like, have we found any Sasquatch bodies? Like bringing it back to the hunting aspect of this. Like, I wonder if they are real, and there does seem to be a good amount of evidence. I wonder what they do with their dead. Kind of like think of crows and how they have like the murder when somebody dies. They all gather together around the bird. I wonder if Sasquatch has some sort of ritual to its end. Like, why aren't we finding them places?
So actually, I have a brilliant story, and it goes to another animal, another very large animal, in
Ooh.
fact, one of the largest animals on the planet. Because everybody thinks humans are the only ones that have a death ritual. It's something that makes us uniquely human, but we're not. In fact,
Crows
there
do it
is a
too.
particular animal that has ingrained in its behavior a death ritual that is so strong that they have even buried humans who they thought were dead. Not harmed them,
Oh wow.
buried them.
Okay, what?
Yes, these creatures, when one of their own dies, they will bury it and then stand around and actually mourn the loss. Do you know what they are?
Sounds like crows, but is there another thing besides crows that do that?
It is another thing beside crows. It is elephants.
Oh.
The particularly
I
the
mean,
Indian
have you
elephant.
seen that story?
Oh, where the elephant went and chased the
Sorry,
woman down?
I think of elephants. Yeah, go. That was one badass elephant. I'm
Uh,
sorry if I'm not allowed to use that
no, no, no,
sort
no.
of wording there, but that was one heck of an elephant.
So yes, the badass elephant goes
You
and
took
chases
my
down this woman. You messed up. I'm coming to get you. That's some Liam Neeson stuff right there. And this is just proof that we don't know everything about everything, because here we go. Oh, animals can't do
No.
this thing. Elephants will bury their own and actually mourn them. And if they say the story comes from a hunter who had actually gotten knocked out, and like their friends literally watched the elephants crowd towards it. And they thought, oh, good God, this so and so is going to die. And no, the elephants actually moved it and then covered it with branches and sticks. And what woke this guy up was the elephants trumpeting over it. And of course, he doesn't move because he doesn't know what's going on. But them trumpeting and whining over the body, mourning the death, mourning the loss of life, after they had buried him with sticks and twigs and kind of made a burial mound over him without harming him. They didn't do him any
Huh.
damage. They just buried him and cried. And that shows that we're not the only ones who acknowledge life and acknowledge the loss of life. Now it's I recently lost my dog, and my dog was staying with my in-laws. And I say
Condolences.
recently, this has been like 6 months now, so I've had some time to mourn and get over it. But what was interesting is that while he was staying with my in-laws, he had made best friends with my grandmother-in-law's dog. And this dog was much, much older than my dog. And, you know, middle of the night one night, this dog that had become best friends with my dog just starts whining and whining and whining. And they come out and they find that my dog is just cold. It's gone. Um,
Aw,
and
poor
immediately following
baby.
that, the other dog's health just declined. And within 2 weeks, we lost the other dog too. And it was,
Wow.
they acknowledge their relationships, their friendships, their connections. Animals do that. So when you talk about the Bigfoot, why we haven't found the bodies? Probably because they have a death ritual. They do something with the bodies. If they probably would care for one another, take care of each other, and take the bodies. For all we know, they're living in caves, and the body's in a cave somewhere, and we just haven't found the caves. and we probably won't, because if we go into the cave, we're going to get whacked with a giant board or something, you know? We don't know. They might
We're
have
not coming
guns.
back out of the cave, right?
Yep. Go into the cave, get shot. What shot
I don't
me?
ever want to think this fucking Sasquatch. No! Oh my goodness. No. I don't want to get killed by a Sasquatch with a gun. That's just that.
We don't
No.
know what they have. You know, they might be
I'm
firing
really
bows
glad
and
that
arrows. They could be highly technologically advanced. They could be there could be all kinds of things going on.
I feel like I would be much better with a berserker death by Sasquatch than like Sasquatch with like a tailored coat and a cannon gun, you know, with like just putting in a little bit of gunpowder and
Fix the bayonets, lads!
those hairless apes are back near our caves again. Fired up, Sally.
Reginald, man the cannon! If I ever hear Reginald man the cannon when I'm in the woods, I'm running. Just so you know. Anyway,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yep.
That's basically where we're at with Sasquatches. We're running a little long at time. So, do you have any last words on the Sasquatch before we wrap this up, Applesauce?
I don't. I'm going to take home some stories. I want to look up these president stories for sure. I got some homework to do as I sit here in my applesauce goodness. And thank you so much for inviting me over, by the way. This has been an absolute blast.
Oh, man, I always love hanging out with you, Applesauce. It's like the best thing ever. You know, and kids, remember, applesauce is a good-for-you snack.
Not if it's sentient, though, because the nails and the glitter are not digestible.
Yeah, don't eat sentient applesauce. If it's gotten to the point to where it's sentient, you should probably call someone. Not me, because I'm already dealing with one sentient applesauce.
They'll put us in the jars. Don't call anybody. Just put us outside. You know, just let us live.
Yeah, just let them live. Leave applesauce alone. Remember, applesauce doesn't need to be in jars. So,
there you go.
That's going to be it for our show. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.